Welcome to the RC Roundtable podcast, where we discuss the latest RC hobby news, events, model reviews, and a whole lot more. Well, hello, welcome to episode 222, the Triple Deuce of the RC Roundtable.
Is 2 a lucky number? I'm not sure.
I guess if it's somebody you really like.
Yeah. Let's hope that 2 is our lucky number tonight.
We'll see.
Well, I have one question for you.
Yeah.
Are you mad at me?
No.
Okay.
I'm not mad at you.
For those who don't know, including Lee, because obviously Lee is not here, Fitz and I just had super compelling, engaging conversation. What was it? About 20 minutes worth. And this dummy right here had not hit the record button. So it's lost forever.
It was an epic conversation.
It's
never to be repeated.
Yeah, somewhere floating out there with Jimmy Hoffa and the Bermuda Triangle, just gone. But use your imagination and you can fill in the blanks. It was good stuff, man.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. So, but since you're disappointed in me, I can tell you that I'm also disappointed in you, Fitz.
Yeah?
Yeah, so you're a good pilot. Everybody knows you're a good pilot. I think you're like, if this is the average, you're like up here. Like the best is up here, but you're certainly above average. And so I can't believe that you squandered the opportunity with your Habu. Your Habu crashed at Jonal, shedded a wing in flight, just departed wing. Mid-flight.
Fly, be free.
I've seen countless videos of wings coming off airplanes mid-flight and the pilot just going into a knife edge and bringing it around the pattern and making a beautiful landing. Why didn't you do that, Fitz?
Jeez. Zero pressure. Maybe because when that happened, it was a blur.
The airplane or your eyes?
Yes. The airplane. The airplane's doing 200 miles an hour. They lost that wing. It was shredding parts after that point.
Oh yeah, you got rid of a lot of drag. It probably accelerated to the guy.
yeah, that thing was hauling.
Oh man,
I don't know if I could have. If I had super cat-like reflexes, I could have put it into a knife edge.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it would have held a knife edge. I mean, there's not a whole lot of rudder in that thing. In fact, it's got a little tiny rudder.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's pretty small. It's over here. I mean, the speed I was going, maybe, but it's kind of probably the best I could have done.
Yeah, maybe if you were also being attacked by a bear or on cocaine, something that really amps up your brain speed.
Cocaine bear.
You could see the crash frame by frame and react.
Yeah, I mean, even if I got into a knife edge, I doubt it would have stayed, but maybe. I mean, it probably would just lawn darted itself. It stabilized lawn dart. Or in order to keep it in a knife edge, it would have had to land it so fast, it would have just probably obliterated it anyways.
Yeah, maybe you could have saved something that did die. You said the fan unit exploded on impact?
Yeah, I got beat up pretty good. I think all the fan blades are sheared off, and the receiver survived, and one battery pack mostly survived. The other one didn't. Speed controller survived, and various bits and pieces. But it's still here. I'm looking right at it. That's why I'm leaning over. I'm looking at it on top of the box there. It's sad and shredded and stuff.
Yeah. We hardly knew ye.
Yeah. I hardly knew ye. I didn't get to fly as much as I had. Maybe half a dozen or so flights on it, but I never really flew it that well. It was such a nice flying model. It's too bad they don't make that particular one anymore, because it's nice flying airframe. It's a little intimidating at first when you see it, but when you fly, it's like, no, this thing is a sweetheart.
Yeah.
And
when we last talked about it, you had hinted at maybe finding another used one somewhere. Did that pan out?
Maybe. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
To be
still in the works.
To be continued, yes.
All right. Well, I tease you, but I will give you the benefit of the doubt that physics would have prevailed either way, even if...
Yeah.
Okay.
She was coming down.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Easy come, easy go. Actually, that wasn't easy come. That was difficult come and easy go.
Yeah, that one had a story behind it.
Yeah. The one we've told before, so we don't need to rehash
it. We won't go into it. But
yeah, it had a hard knock life.
And a hard knock death, too, as well.
Right. All right. Well, I know we've got a list of things here, and unfortunately, without Lee being here, we had to put a red X through some of those things we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
But maybe, just maybe, Lee's taking care of some family business. So maybe if he gets that wrapped up, he'll join us and we can complete the full list. But for now, we'll just cross our fingers and hope he shows up.
Okie doke. Hope so.
All right. Well, speaking of Lee and speaking of thunderstorms, we weren't talking about thunderstorms, but we will.
Well, it's kind of thundering here, actually.
Oh, is it still?
Yeah.
Okay. Right,
I heard it a little bit a second ago.
Lee mentioned that you guys got caught in a storm a few days ago.
We did. I asked Lee to utilize his photographing abilities, and we both met out at Scobie Field in Houston, kind of central Houston-ish. Very nice field. It was a nice day, so I said, hey, let's go fly. Wind was right down the runway for the most part. Not very busy either. I was kind of surprised. And so we did, I had a plane I was doing a review on, we'll get that in a second. And we did a couple flights. I did one flight for some stills, and then I gassed up, and then did a second flight for some video. And as I'm flying, I see off in the distance, it's like, it's getting awfully dark on that side of the sky. That's interesting. But I didn't think too much of it and flew around. As I'm flying, I'm thinking, it's getting closer and closer. And so about 5 minutes or so into the flight, I'm like, yeah, this is looking pretty dreary. Let me land. And so I land and drag the plane back into the pits. And as I'm doing that, I start feeling the little sprinkles. It's like, oh yeah, it's coming. So I start trying to disassemble the plane and try to get back in the car, and which is a bit of a production at Scobie Field because the parking lot is not too close. You got to put stuff in carts and
there's a tram that takes you out.
Yeah, you got to wait for the tram to come. And as we're doing it, it's starting to raining more and more and more. I was like, we're trying to rush to put things in the car because we're just going to go bug off to lunch. And we ended up getting pretty drenched, trying to shove everything into the car. So we got, our day got cut short because Lee had brought some planes too he wanted to fly, and he never even took them out of the car. He never had a chance. So I feel bad for him. He didn't get to fly anything.
So he came out there and took pictures of your airplane. And
yes, he did.
Then had to bug out.
He had to bug out. Well, we went to lunch, so he got a free lunch out of it. So yeah, so it was unfortunate that he didn't get to fly, and we got kind of drenched. But other than that, it was pretty good. I got a good flight, a couple of flights out of the airplane.
All right, cool. Now, speaking of rain at Scobie, this was probably post one of the hurricanes when I was there, but I remember seeing footage of the runway itself, which is kind of elevated. It's a paved runway on an elevated pad of ground. And then there's that walkway you talked about with the pits out in the parking lot. But it looked like an aircraft carrier because it's just a runway, a paved runway surrounded by water.
Oh, wow.
Nearly all sides. So all of that area surrounding the runway was completely flooded. And
yeah, I think that happened relatively recent. A couple of years ago, they had a big storm that came through and flooded. And it might have been the one of the hurricanes that we had that came through.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Ike or whatever. We had a hurricane that sort of just parked itself over Houston and just drenched everything. And their clubhouse flooded pretty bad as well.
Oh, I didn't realize that was underwater. That's too bad.
Yeah. Now, technically where they are is a flood reservoir kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's so you can never have any houses or anything built on it because it's designated as something that if it does flood, it's supposed to collect a bunch of water. Everything there is considered expendable.
Okay.
It's rare, but there's dikes all around it, so worst comes to worst. So it's just, I think they've since elevated their clubhouse a bit more than it was.
Okay.
There's a big pair of steps now to get up in there.
All right. Well, good. So ultimately, no damage to the plane, or nobody got struck by lightning.
Yeah, nobody got struck by lightning. Just a little wet.
You just had to skip
But in fact, we had a couple of passing storms. I think we had a light storm cloud. Yeah, we did. After our first flight, it had a light storm, not storm, but just a rain cloud. It kind of passed over, rained on us a little bit, then passed and got sunny again. So, okay, we're good. And then another big one came.
Yeah. The fast-moving storms like that remind me of when I used to live in Florida. It would be nice and sunny and everything's great, and then all of a sudden it's black and torrential rain's coming down. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it must be 3 o'clock.
Yeah, the summer storms were like clockwork. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, and 10 minutes later, everything's back to sunny, and although it would be more sauna-like then because
Oh, yeah.
steam coming
It's
up.
all hot. And,
Yeah. But that's Florida for you. All right, so you mentioned that plane behind you. Mention more about that plane behind you.
okay, the plane behind me is the one I was flying at Scobie. That is, the wings are off, but that is actually from Seagull Models, Piper Cherokee, that Legend Hobby was going to be selling pretty soon. This is actually, they asked me to take a look at the pre-production model. So this one is an interesting build because I didn't have the actual manual yet. They haven't completed it. And there's some nitpicky things that I also told them about because they wanted to, before they go into production, say, hey, build this and let us know what you think. Find any little minor issues or anything. So, it was sort of a quick build. I kind of rushed to get it together and get it out flying. And 35cc power, rear exhaust, 84-inch span, I believe. Got a pretty good
84?
span. I think it was 84.
Okay.
Eight. Yeah.
I would have guessed bigger just from the comparison I get with you sitting there.
Pretty sure it's 80. Yeah, it's a good sized plane.
Okay.
It's either 84 or 87, one of the two. And it was neat when that storm was coming because the sky was sort of a dark gray, but it was still bright and sunny on the other side. So when the plane came up, it was a really big contrast of this white and red plane in front of the kind of the storm cloud. It was really cool. But spoilers, it's a really, really nice flying model. Really, really cool. It's got working oleo struts and all the landing gear, which is pretty neat.
That's cool.
And 35cc is plenty of power for it. Really good power. I was surprised considering the size of the plane. Yeah.
So, as I talk here, I'm acting like I don't know anything about it, and I don't. You said zero about this airplane until you posted something on Facebook the other day. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Fitz didn't tell anybody about this. You had it long enough to put the thing together. So
I did, but not much longer than that. I had very little lead time to get it. It wasn't. In fact, I didn't even get it mailed to me. I went and picked it up. It was such little lead time. I was like, can you do this real quick? Because we needed to get some feedback before they go into production. Didn't want to have a lot of delay. So it was a kind of a rush to get it, to slap it together, fly it, take some pictures of it, and that kind of stuff. So it's probably one of the faster. Fortunately, it's not a complicated model, but there was a couple of things I had to figure out because no manual. Well, I had kind of a manual, but it wasn't quite right. But it's neat. It's got the nav lights in it as well, a bit of a cockpit interior. So it's pretty snazzy.
Obviously, fixed landing gear. So
Yeah, fixed landing gear. It's got wheel pants, if you can see. Sorry, going the wrong way. It got this pretty cool wheel pants on the front, working suspension. Not a lot to hack out. Oh, it's got lights too. Nav lights, front light, tail light with a light strobe flasher unit inside. So the lights get all blinky and such.
Okay. Do you have an estimated release date yet?
I don't know. It's probably going to be a few months lead time. So they've got to get the feedback, any feedback integrated, and then start the production. And so it may take a month or two for them to do the production run, and then another couple of months to get it shipped over. So you're probably looking late fall, early winter. That would be my best guess.
So this is an early sneak peek.
Yeah, this is a real sneak peek. I think he's put it on the Legend Hobby webpage.
Okay.
It's on there now as a coming soon or pre-order or something like that.
Right. Okay. Can I be nitpicky?
Yeah.
So I noticed in that Facebook post, somebody else brought up that the taper of the wings isn't necessarily scale. And is that true?
So we've been having that discussion.
Okay.
That it technically, because I had to do some research too. I didn't really pick it out. Somebody actually at the field mentioned it too. I said, hey, wait a minute, it's got a tapered wing. The Cherokees didn't have a tapered wing. I'm like, huh, you sure? And I look, and first of all, the research I did is very confusing.
Okay.
So apparently the tapered wing version is the Archer.
Okay.
I think it's the Archer or Arrow. I believe it's the Archer has the tapered wings. And it's a slight difference. It's still, I think the fuselage is more or less the same. I think the window count is different. And it has a tapered wing. But sometimes it's called the Cherokee Archer.
Okay.
And sometimes but all the research says, no, it's when they change the wing, they change the name. So, and this is actually modeled after a real aircraft.
Oh,
but the pictures we found of it, we couldn't see the wing very well. The way the pictures were aligned, you can't tell if it's tapered or not. So we're in discussions that you may have to tweak it slightly and call it an Archer or something. And we'll see.
Okay. So the Archer you referenced, that's a constant taper from root to tip?
I don't know if it's a constant. I don't think...
Because somebody mentioned that the profile is constant chord, like the half span, and then it tapers after that.
Usually what it is, yeah. It's constant and then sort of a taper. I think some of the later ones might be a constant taper.
Right.
Again, it was really confusing. Some of the wings, some of the pictures I saw look like a constant taper.
Yeah.
And some look like a very a half taper. Because the camera angles and stuff is all really confusing.
Yeah.
There were some diagrams I found, and it says it looks like, just like you said, sort of a constant chord and then a taper after the flaps or something like that.
Right.
So we're in the middle of doing some research and seeing where we're going to go with this. So, which is, we'll see. It may be that Maya is a unique version once they do some minor, some tweaks to it, which is still, it's a very, very good flying model, which is to figure out. They may have to have it, call it something different.
Right. And a good looking airplane too.
Yeah, so very nice paint scheme and stuff.
It's all balsa and ply?
Yes, except for the wheel pants and cowl or fiberglass.
Okay. Oh, nice. And that's
front
all
covers.
Pre-painted?
Yeah, that didn't even have to add decals. You just take it out of the box and slap it together.
All right. Cool.
Like I said, it was a pretty quick build.
What about cockpit details?
There are seats. There are 4 seats.
Okay.
Well, 2.5 seats. The front seats are seats. The back are just the backrest. The way they did it's kind of weird, but it looks, from the outside, it looks like there's 4 seats.
Right.
And there's a decal for the cockpit dashboard.
All right. Cool. So if Lee was out there taking photos, you're doing a review on it. Where will that review be?
Looks like it'll be a combination of my YouTube channel and Model Aviation.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So look for that in a few months. I'm working on writing up the article now.
All right. Awesome. Anything else you want to share about it?
It's an airplane.
It is an airplane.
Didn't have to do a lot of cutting for the cowl, which was nice. Okay, no. That's it. It's got a big hatch. The top is real big. So if you wanted to do an electric version, that would be very easy.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like they've been making Cherokees and Cherokee flavored airplanes for a long time. There must be a lot of variants out there.
The real one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually looked it up. It's got huge production numbers. I think it might be number 2 after the Cessna 172.
That would make sense.
It was really, really popular. 30,000, I think.
Oh my
the number I saw. Okay. Yeah. So a lot. And I remember seeing them a lot in the airports, especially when I was a kid, especially the Hershey bar wing version. That was
right.
So there, I guess it's the low wing 172.
Yeah. All right.
Ish. And that's one I saw when I was over in Italy. I saw one flying around.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's like, look at that. So they're international. A couple other things too. I got a new helicopter, another new toy. If you can.
That looks familiar. Where have I seen that?
Probably every Vietnam movie that you've ever seen.
No, I mean specifically that model with you. We haven't talked about that before?
No, I just made a video review of it on my channel.
Oh, did you release it already?
Yeah, it's already released just a few days
That's
ago.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's where I saw it.
So this is from RC Era makes this. Razor Dunn is a distributor, and it's one of those I call them dronecopters.
All right.
So basically, it kind of flies itself, and you kind of command it around. The controller is, I mean, you can fly like a helicopter. It's got collective and that kind of stuff. But it's one of the things you take your hands off and it just stops and stays there. Right. It's got a couple sensors. It doesn't have GPS, but it does have optical sensors. But what is neat is it has a one-button inverting function. So if you get up high enough, press the button and it flips upside down.
Okay.
Oh yeah, for those of you listening, I'm holding in my hand a 1/48 scale UH1 Huey. And this is basically plastic model scale Huey that is 2 blades, really nice. It has a nice little rechargeable battery pack that fits in the bottom. And it's got nice scale details. It's got rivets and Gatling guns on the side. And it does a 2-bladed main blades. So it's a nice little thing. And it flew really nice. I flew it outside in winds that I probably had no business flying it in. And it did pretty good, except it was, if I got up above the tree line, it was so breezy that I couldn't bring it down very easily. I think there's a limit to how much negative pitch it has. I think it's got pitch. Is that pitch control? It does. Or something. And so it was, you get what we call transient lift because the air is kind of like an airplane flying. It's like, think of it as in constant forward flight.
Translational.
Translational?
Yeah.
What do I call it? Translational lift. You're right.
Yeah.
Not transient. It's translational lift. So it would come down, but really slow, and it kind of bob up and down as I'm trying to get full negative collective until I got below the tree line, and it would come down. But it also has auto takeoff and auto land features, and it's nice little. If somebody wanted to try helicopters and didn't want to spend a lot of money and learn how to fly, it's a good thing.
Right. So one of my favorite books is called Chicken Hawk, and it was written by a guy who. Okay, you're familiar with it.
Yeah, I read it. You let me borrow it. Remember?
Oh, okay. Well, I hope I let you keep
ago.
it because I have other copies of it.
Oh, okay.
Anytime I see a copy of it at a book sale or something, I just buy
Yeah.
it because I give them away when I can. But it was written by a guy who flew Hueys in Vietnam and actually flew during the LZ X-ray operation, which is famous. But he has a great explanation of translational lift. And I don't remember the specifics of it, but it was like he was overloaded and couldn't take off vertically, but was still in a small area. So he had to corkscrew in circles to... Fitz, you went away. Are you back? Okay. Anyway, so about that, he couldn't get enough lift because he was so overloaded to take off vertically. So he had to corkscrew to get enough forward speed for the translational lift to kick in, and then he could get out of wherever he was. So anyway, I don't want to get too deep into it because I'm probably misquoting that whole thing, but if anybody wants to learn more about Hueys, read Chicken Hawk by Robert Mason. I can hear you. Yeah. Can you hear me? Oh, did that happen again? Okay. Oh, oh yeah. Let me do this. There you are.
There we go. Okay.
So that's strike 2 for this app tonight. Actually, the first one was my fault, and this one, I don't know whose fault it was. But we'll persevere. Now, talking about that model, didn't you have another helicopter model you reviewed that's similar with the quasi-GPS holding?
Yes, I did.
What was that one?
I do. That one was a civilian.
It a Black Hawk? Oh.
Yeah, it was a Black Hawk. You're right. No, it was a Bell Jet Ranger.
Oh, okay.
206,
so
I believe.
Is it the same company that makes this?
I believe it is. I'm looking at the box. It is. Same company, so it's probably got the same smarts and electronics. Except that one, I don't remember having an invert function. And this one does, so maybe this is a newer thing.
Now, when it's inverted, do you still have to fly it as if it's inverted?
No, it flew like it was right side up, just...
so it changes the controls for you.
Yeah, and it even would fly hands off. When inverted, you take your hands and sticks and it just would kind of stay. And it was funny, you saw in the video, I get it inverted, and I can't get it back upright for a while.
Oops.
The instructions weren't very clear on how to get it back upright. And it turned out I had to I eventually did. I tried something different with the controls, and it did it. But
Were you reading the manual while it's hovering inverted in front of you?
yeah, how to fly your helicopter in 3 easy steps. The nice thing is, the good thing is, it's got actually a really long runtime. The thing flew. God, it's probably a 10-minute runtime, easily.
What size battery?
What does it say? It's a 2-cell, 350 milliamp hour.
Okay, nice.
Which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is not a very big helicopter. Like I said, it's 1/48 scale, so it's a scalable plastic model.
Yeah, I used to have a 1/48 scale Huey in my collection.
Ah, cool.
Static model, yeah.
Yeah, I never really built too many helicopters. I can only remember like three helicopters I've ever built in my modeling career. Or plastic models, that is.
Right.
Never got into them too much.
Does it play Creedence Clearwater Revival when you turn it on?
Fortunate son.
Yeah.
No, I guess it should.
Yeah, it should, yeah. So, all right. What else you got in your review stash?
I've got this little Corsair, which I have not flown yet.
Oh, man, you're stockpiled on this stuff.
Yeah, this little guy. Like I said, the weather's been kind of wonky. So we'll see if I can get to fly it.
That also looks like 1/48 scale-ish.
No, it's probably more on 24 scale, maybe.
Oh, that big? Okay.
Yeah. A Corsair. For those who are listening, I'm holding in my hand a little F4U Corsair, foamy, roughly 1/48, 1/24 scale, I would say. Maybe 1/32 scale. It's a foamy. This one comes from, I don't remember the name of the company. AliExpress sells it.
Oh. Okay.
I don't exactly remember the name. It's just Bayou. Well, I can't read that.
You need your other glasses.
Whatever. So yeah, so Bayou Bali? Whatever. It's got just. Anyways, we'll see. It apparently has some stabilization built into it. It's got removable landing gear. It doesn't have retracts, but you can pop the landing gear out.
Okay.
And we'll see. We'll see how it flies. Nice 3-bit propeller on it.
Yeah. It looks like standard UMX size.
Yeah, it's roughly UMX size. Feels a little heavier than a UMX in this size. So it'll be interesting to see how it flies.
All right. And is it brushless?
Yes, little brushless outrunner motor. It's got a neat snap-on propeller. I guess it's a safety feature. You can kind of just snap it on and off.
Okay.
Like that. It's pretty cool.
Right. Nice. All right, so that one hasn't flown yet.
Has not flown yet. I haven't had a chance. Like I said, we've had really wonky weather lately. It's been really windy. And I was going to see if I can get out, do some flying later, sometime this week. And now today the field's flooded. Don't know how long this is going to last, and who knows what the winds are.
All right. So the helicopter and the Corsair, they're going to be on your YouTube channel?
Yes.
Hobby View?
Hobby View, one word.
All right. Cool. All right, I'm going to have to reference the list again because I don't remember what else we want to talk about.
Terry's weekend training and fun fly in Green Bay. You did some flying, did some fun stuff. You're famous now. You got on the news.
Yeah. So that's actually 2 different events.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think I talked about it before it happened. Our swap meet was something we used to do. I think in February we would rent out kind of a restaurant that had a big area, and we would do the Sunday morning thing that a lot of the clubs around here do. But it got so that the cost of renting that restaurant got prohibitive. So by the time we opened the doors, we were in pretty deep. And so if we didn't get a lot of attendance, we were not going to make any money. So we had the idea last fall to change our swap meet to a swap meet / fly-in during the summer. So that's what we did. This was a few weeks ago up here in Green Bay. We basically just opened up the field for a tailgate swap meet. And if you brought something to fly, go ahead and fly it. And we had more people come to fly than we did to swap. So there actually weren't many people at all swapping things. And that's fine. But we had quite a few people show up, and we had fun flying in good weather. And so I just imagine, we haven't talked about it afterward yet, but I think we'll probably do the same thing next year. And maybe as the years go on, it will become more swapping as well. But we'll see. It wasn't a bad day at all if you're flying and having fun. So then this past weekend was a training day. And this is something my club does once a month, and I think a lot of clubs do this. We basically send out an open invitation to anybody in the community who wants to come out and learn how to fly. The club owns a couple apprentices. We have a couple of our own trainer planes, and we'll get people on the sticks and let them try it out. So prior to that, the president of our club got in touch with the local news organization, and they were at our field to do a live feed a few days beforehand to kind of help spread the word. And I'm not sure how it happened, but I'm the person that got picked to be on camera for the news feed. And that was decided like 20 minutes before we went on camera. I think it turned out okay. I haven't watched it, and I don't plan to watch it. So I hope it went okay. And we did have some people come out on that day that said, yep, saw it on the news, so we decided to come out and try it. And we also had some people that came out for training that had participated in a STEM event. We've done a couple STEM events that I've talked about here too, and we had some kids that came out because of that. So we're trying all sorts of different outreach efforts to make ourselves known to the people who might have a flying itch and want to scratch it. So it's starting to get a little traction, and I hope that builds.
Really good. Yeah, I hope we get some new members out of it or something.
Yeah, and we've already had a couple people join, so that's...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're seeing some positives out of it. Now, this past Saturday when we had the training day, the weather was awful. I mean, just really stinky. Nobody would be flying if we hadn't said we'd be out there training. The winds were steady at 20 plus and gusting above that. And not only were the winds high, but they were coming over our backs. We've got a tree line behind us, and it was coming over the back and just rolling over the runway. So crosswind to the runway and very turbulent. So me and the other guy who were training, we had some really rough landings. Some people might call them crashes with us trying to land the trainers. It was trying.
Where were you flying for trainers?
Apprentices.
Apprentices? Okay. Oh, that's right. You said apprentice. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe like Aero Scout would have done a little better because they're slightly higher wing loading. Maybe they're more tolerant of wind, but there was no real training going on that day. That was just an opportunity for somebody to get on the sticks for a minute and see what happens when you move it each way. So we're hoping that everybody that came out will come back on a calmer day and they can really get some useful experience on them then.
Well, I'll have to say on the interview you did, you presented yourself really well. I thought it flowed really good naturally. And
oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I don't know if that was the first take or not, but it did really good.
Oh, it was live. There was one take.
Really?
Yeah, it was a live feed. So, yeah, I for whatever reason, the stuff we do here doesn't really bother me because I'm the one who edits most of this stuff, so I end up watching it anyway.
Yeah.
But throughout my life, I've been on different shows. Like I did a few documentary things when I was at NASA. I have no desire to watch any of them. So I'll take your word for it that it went well, and I appreciate that feedback, but I don't know that I'll ever see it with my own two eyes. So, yeah.
It was interesting. I was watching throughout the years, William Shatner has said on many occasions that he never watches anything he acts in.
I get it. It's me and you, Bill. Same team. So, yeah, so that's what's been going on here. This is a great season for flying in Wisconsin. Did I mention on training day it was also 90 plus degrees here.
Really? It gets that hot up there?
Rarely and briefly, but yeah, this whole weekend it was in the 90s. So yeah, that was a challenge as well. And actually, with it being that hot, the breeze was somewhat welcome. Maybe not that much breeze, but yeah, and it's back in the 70s today. So I appreciate that. So yeah, it's been interesting around here, and nice. I know you're going to ask about the Eindecker because I asked you guys to ask me about the Eindecker and keep me on task, and
So what about the Eindecker, eh?
I haven't touched it. I fully intend to. It's been on the brain, but I haven't actually touched it in a couple months now. I know. I've had other stuff going on. And the last episode, I mentioned my Catalina, which is like the Catalina that Lee flew at Null.
Yeah.
I did get that finished, and I maidened it. And the maiden flight was off the pond out back. And again, it was kind of windy and turbulent that day, so I didn't feel like I really got a good glimpse into how it flies. But I was able to take it out to my field yesterday, and it slides off the grass, no problem. And I got some good flights in on it. So I think it's getting pretty close to dialed in, and I'll try it off the lake again after that. But it's a pretty neat airplane for what it is. But Lee was right. It leaks. After that flight off the lake, I poured out a good quarter cup of water from the inside.
Wow.
Yeah.
No idea where it's coming from.
No, it could be coming through the seam in the hull. I did a couple of Tokyo drifts out there, and so the hatch isn't sealed, so it might have come in through the hatch then. There's no telling, but the electronics were fine. I haven't done Corrosion X on any of the electronics, but I probably should. So that'll be another step to take. So, yeah, I'll get it there, and eventually, once I have it dialed in, I'll probably shoot some video so you guys can see it in action.
Cool.
Yeah. What else is going on up here?
Any events coming up your way?
No, what Lee and I talked about last time, going to the Nats, that's in just 2 more weeks. We're going to be headed there, less than 2 weeks at this point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we're going to be there for 7 or 8 days, I think. And so that'll give us enough overlap to catch several of those events. So, again, we encourage people to come out there with us and see what's happening at AMA HQ out there in Muncie.
That's cool. Kind of wish I was going, but it definitely looks like work is getting in the way.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Am I remembering that you were going overseas again?
Not anytime soon.
Okay.
But I might be taking a trip around that time somewhere else.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Well, at a minimum, we'll see you in September at the Neat Fair. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. We're really looking forward to that.
Yeah. Have you guys bought your airline tickets yet?
No, we haven't. Lee pinged me and said, hey, we need to coordinate, and I just haven't done it.
Yeah.
I might extend my trip a little bit.
Oh, yeah, you've got family up that way.
Yeah, I got family stuff up there, so I might take advantage of being in the area.
Okay. Cool. And
so
the Rhinebeck Jamboree is typically the weekend before.
Oh, is it?
So, yeah.
Oh, so yeah. So I might go there a little early, hang around, do some stuff before you guys get there.
All right.
And I might even play hooky 1 or 2 days while you're during the week too.
Don't make me chain you down. Yeah, you're staying with us, buddy. You have no option.
No, I'm staying with you, but I might have to, depending on what's open during the weekend and during the week, because there's another thing I wanted to see while I'm up there.
Oh yeah, is that something you're willing to talk about?
Yeah, I can talk about it. It's the Star Trek experience. I think it's called Star Trek Experience. Star Trek, and I'm trying to remember what it's called. So they recreated a bunch of sets and stuff. Star Trek original series.
A traveling exhibition?
No, it's just like a permanent thing in what's the name of the town?
Did Jay Smith tell you about this?
No, he's a Doctor Who guy. He's in Star Trek.
Yeah, I knew that, but I thought he had told me about this as well. Jay Smith, editor of Model Aviation Magazine, for those of you who don't know him.
What the name of the town? It's called the Star Trek Original Series Tour.
Oh, okay.
And they have a recreation of the sets. A bunch of the actors have been up there. Mm-hmm. It's kind of in the area. Oh, no, it's more north. Holy crap, maybe not. It's really far away. Okay, it's in New York State, but upstate, near the, I'm looking at it now, near the Vermont border.
Oh, yeah, you're not going to be close to that.
That's north of Albany.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I thought it was closer. Darn it. Okay.
Shucks, you have to stay with us.
Darn it.
Now, another thing, not that we would want to do during NEAT, but the whole time I lived in Buffalo, and then last year when I drove there again, I went through Elmira, New York, which is the National Soaring Museum.
Oh,
And I think it's also the home of Schweitzer gliders, but I always intended to stop there and look, but for whatever reason, I was in a hurry to get to Neat or in a hurry to get home, and I never made time to actually do it. So that would be a fun thing to do one day as well.
yeah. I've never been there either.
So I'm sure there's cool stuff there. And it's at an airport where I assume they do aerotows or some sort of soaring. Yeah, neat stuff. So for those of you listening, I'll make it clear that Fitz and Lee are flying in to somewhere, I assume around New York City. Then you're going to drive, it's a 2-hour drive maybe, over to Downsville for the Neat Fair. So for those of you going to the Neat Fair, Fitz and Lee will be essentially planeless. I'm going to take as much as I can for them to fly, but if you have an extra aerial vehicle or two, I'm sure they would enjoy it.
Be like, brother, can you spare a plane?
Right.
Should we bring transmitters at least?
I mean, you could if you wanted, but who wants you? Nah, you don't want to bind to somebody else's plane because then they got to. Nah. If they have a plane, they have a transmitter too.
All right.
And worst case,
Yeah, what do they have? Okay.
Worst case, you can use one of my transmitters to bind to.
Oh, okay. I was just saying if somebody has multiple planes with only one transmitter, don't be holding them up
Yeah.
like you or something. If you have extra transmitters, we can use.
I probably do. So yeah, we'll figure something out.
Okay.
Make it work. So I had not planned to talk about this, but the transmitter talk here brings up something that I read about Flight Fest, which was last weekend.
Yeah, it was last weekend.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Flight Fest.
Speaking of storms.
Right. So Flight Test, big on-site event for them. But in the postscript that a lot of people have put in, somebody mentioned that they were having significant radio issues this year.
Really?
And they're equating it, and my understanding is it's just a theory at this point, but they're equating it with the rise in popularity of ELRS systems. And
Do they have a lot of them there?
Yes. And there's a lot of people, generally very heavy noise anyway, just because there's a lot of people flying there. I remember when I did combat there, easily 100 airplanes at one time.
Yeah.
And when I was flying, I was using my Futaba, probably my Futaba Fast system, which I've never had one iota of issues with anywhere else. But when I was flying in that environment, it was like it was on a half-second time delay. I'd flick the right stick to roll to the right, and then I could do it, and then count Mississippi, and then the airplane would react. And I still had solid control. It never dropped out, but with that delay, it was freaking me out.
It's not getting a lot of the packets.
Maybe.
Probably nearly saturated with all the other RF traffic.
Yeah, so I flew around for a few minutes, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm just not comfortable with it, so I landed, and it was fine. But, so I don't know if it was the same sort of symptoms that these people were seeing, but they noted, they were calling it, maybe they were calling it brownouts, but brownout's a different thing. But they were definitely dropping out with normal spectrum systems in an ELRS-heavy environment.
Okay. I think the ELRS are higher power too.
Higher frequency, for sure. And I'm really talking out of my butt here because I'm not a radio engineer.
It depends on what frequency band they're running in, but I think the LRS, you're talking about the long range stuff? Yeah, I think that's higher power. So it may be drowning out the signals.
I want to say that I saw somebody mention they were using a 1 watt transmitting power, which is right at that's the max for without a ham license, right?
I think so. I'm not real versed in the power ham license requirements, LRS stuff. But I think most of our stuff is 500 milliwatts, maybe.
Is it even that much? I would have guessed less,
maybe a couple hundred milliwatts, I think, for the typical Spectrum radio.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of power. I don't think it's anywhere near 1 watt. But I have to double check. So you got combination of a lot of people and a lot of people blasting a lot of power, probably just drowning out the weaker signals.
Yeah, and I guess it's not surprising given my experience, but I was I was surprised to read that they were having that much issue and that it was related to ELRS, because I assume they're class 15 or whatever it is that the FCC gives, and the main criteria is that it doesn't interfere with other things, right? So I don't know how they test for that or how they certify it, but it would seem that there's some sort of squashing going on out there.
Interesting.
So for anybody listening to this who knows one iota about radio systems and what might be going on here, please let us know, because clearly we are big dummies. So,
power. I'm looking it up.
At a post now.
Oh, yeah, I found was the European market. They're limited to 100 milliwatts, but that's not. We're not in European. I thought I saw something that quoted the dB output. There's a thread on RC groups that people are asking about. Someone's making a good point too. The antennas, whatever antennas are using, can also boost the power.
Oh, yeah.
At least if it's directional.
Right, well, I know one of the principal guys in that flight test chat about this, so I'll reach out to him and see what he can share about it, and then we'll report back on another episode. But again, if anybody listening knows anything about this, please fill in the blanks for us.
Let's see. The spec says up to 200 milliwatts, but somebody's saying it's 100 milliwatts for the U.S. as well. So yeah, so it's not a lot of power. So they're preferring, one watt, order of magnitude of power.
Yeah.
It sounds like I wonder if those dual band radios would have performed better. The 2.4/900 radios.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think Frisky makes them.
Yeah, and you know what? I found out the correct pronunciation is Free Sky.
Is it Free Sky?
I think the RC Plane Lab guys had a guest from Free Sky, and that's how he conveyed it. So I'll take his word for it.
Okay, Free Sky.
So thank you, Free Sky Steve.
It'd be ironic if you go to flight test and the best radio is an old 72 megahertz radio.
So I remember many moons ago, maybe it was 2008, at CEF, when they were doing the Guinness World Record. It was either 2008 or 2012. And the world record was to have the most RC airplanes airborne at the same time. And they wanted to get over 100, and they were struggling to get enough 2.4. And then there were still lots of 72 megahertz, and they were going into the ham band as well to get all these airplanes in at once. And I think they ended up setting the record. But it took a lot of coordination with all the different radio frequencies to make it happen.
Oh, yeah.
And even still, there were a lot of issues. You could see airplanes plowing into the ground. But
stretching the technology to the limit.
Yeah, for sure. But,
that's funny.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so I would be interested to learn more about what's going on. And I mentioned that it was like Spectrum radios that were having the issue. I think it was anything other than ELRS. So like Spectrum, Radio Master, Free Sky, whatever. Any of those protocols were being affected. Any 2.4 gigahertz protocol was being affected.
I wonder if they're going to have to just say no ELRS stuff during Flight Fest because it's just drowning on everybody. Or limit your power output.
Maybe, but I think all of it so far is just a theory. They got to, figure out what's actually going on, and maybe that is the issue.
They really need somebody to come out there with like a spectrum analyzer or something.
Yeah,
kind of sniff around.
All right. We'll have to talk to our buddy Adam Drain. He was there for a time over the weekend, and we'll get some sort of report from him about just Flight Fest in general and how things went.
Fright Fest.
Yeah. You haven't been to one. Oh, wait. Have you been to one?
Yeah, when we were in Texas, before they bought their home field.
That's right.
That's where my scratch-built Aero Commander got cut in half on the ground by somebody.
Yeah, that's on brand.
But I had a lot of fun. It was okay. It's all good.
I think, that's their slogan, right? Bring the people you love and the airplanes you hate or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, let's move on to something else. You, Mr. Fitz, had a recently.
Yes, I did. And speaking of, I'm going to have to make a slight go back because I forgot I had downloaded some pictures.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm going to. All right, you see a picture
I do.
of me getting ready to start up the Cherokee, quote unquote. So, just give you a idea of the size. Where's the? That's weird. Here's the arrows, and here's a picture of it in the air.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
I see what you mean about the dark clouds in the background.
Yeah. So these shots courtesy of Rayviation, aka Lee Ray.
Nice.
All right. So yes, I had the boat float. Just to open those up. So you remember this is the bait boat I got at when I was at Joe Dow
How could I forget?
from our buddy. Was it Ron?
Yep.
Okay, right. I remember his name, Ron. So yeah, so this is neat. I opened it up and I said, "This is pretty cool inside." Can you see my mouse?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll just describe this. So the bait boat is basically a twin pontoon catamaran kind of thing, and the top opens like a clamshell, and inside the clamshell there's a couple of fans and these little twist-off caps to these cubbies that you can put the battery packs in and other stuff. So it's a really nice setup. And then when you close the clamshell, there's even like a hood stand or whatever to hold it open. Mm-hmm. And it's got lights and some switches on the back and even an FPV camera. So I bound myself to it. It's got a Spectrum receiver in there. The only thing is it's got 2 speed controllers. So there's a motor and propeller on each pontoon. One's by the transmitter. And I thought, well, maybe you just said there's no rudder. So it uses differential thrust to steer.
Now,
and so I had...
Clearly, you changed the radio system.
I don't know what they had before.
Was there not one in it when you got it?
Well, there was a receiver, but there wasn't a transmitter.
Oh, okay. Well, it had the 2-stick airplane style transmitter, but I think these are from France or somewhere in Europe. So it was like a 35 or 40 megahertz system in there.
Oh yeah, that was just changed. It's got a Spectrum receiver in there.
Yeah. Okay.
But I had to program the radio with mixing to do what I needed to do. Yeah. It's all on the right stick. So before I get to that, there's just wanted to show a couple of pictures for those on YouTube. Our buddy Kirk that went with us to Perry, Georgia a few years ago said he wanted to get a Mr. Darby tugboat if there was one for sale there. And he ended up finding one. Somebody had one, but fiberglass hull, not unbuilt for the most part. And he started on it and got pretty far and decided he wasn't interested anymore. And so it has changed hands to our buddy Bob Martin at Nautilus Subworks, or Tridox, Nautilus Tridox. And he decided to go with a steampunk theme to it. So he reworked it over. And when I heard about it, I was like, "You did what to what?" But when I saw it, it's really cool. He did a really good job. It's got a lot of 3D printed parts. There's like little skulls on it. A lot of weathering. It's really good.
It looks like there's rust under the paint.
It does. I mean, he gave it a rust look. I'm sorry, if you're listening to this, you got to go to the website. I'm zooming in and stuff. Really, and he added like steampunk water cannons and spears and guns on it. I got another picture. And it really, really did a cool job of in the next one. Yeah, there's a close-up of it's like a bird skull or something on there. In the back, he's got this little steampunk submarine that he 3D printed that has lights inside that fits on the back. It's like a little bath escape or something. Here, he pulled it out. It looks like a puffer fish when he pulled it out of the boat. kind of a fat belly. This is the bottom. There's some windows here. He says it's got lights inside, and he's working on a motorized version. I don't think this one was, and he had sort of looks like some sort of flying machine kind of thing they had on the back, just stuck there. I just wanted to show some pictures because it's really, really cool. And here's some sort of Gatling guns with a kind of a clockwork angle swivel on it, gears, and it just is really neat. So anyways, here is the bait boat on the water.
Well, is the tugboat seaworthy now? Did he finish it?
Yeah, he drove it around. Yeah, it was in the water. Yeah, it's got working steam too on it.
Oh,
yeah.
So he really meant steampunk.
Yeah, he went full. I don't know if I had a picture of it, but he drove it around. It was really cool. So this was the maiden voyage of the bait boat. So here it is in the water, and I got the FPV camera working on it. So it's just big. This thing is heavy. This thing's got a handle on it, but it's still, I like use 2 hands to hold it because it's a beast. But that said, it runs really well. I think I have some video. Here we go. It was surprisingly fast for what it was. I mean, it's no speedboat. This is not top speed. I'm just kind of putt-putting here. But it's got some get up and go to it. And, I was letting another guy drive around, so he's driving kind of slow. And it was a lot funner, if that's a real word, than I would have thought, because the differential steering works really well, and the thing will literally turn in its own diameter. I got another video. It will literally sit and spin like a top if you wanted to.
Does it have reverse thrust as well?
It does, yes. Okay. I have reverse thrusters. Come on, here we go. Here is it spinning.
Is that a person in a boat, or is that?
There's a person in a boat. There's a story to that. Okay. Oop, I don't know why the camera got all wonky. Here. So our buddy Bob, his submarined and didn't come back up.
Oh no!
And so here he is with some snorkeling equipment trying to go find it. So he waded out in the water. He got some goggles and stuff. And then we had another guy in a boat, kind of looking around for it as well, in a little canoe thing. And he sees some of the other boats. He ultimately didn't find it, so he pulled out this guy who is a scuba diver. And they're pulling out some of the gas tanks so they can go scuba diving to go find his rather expensive submarine.
Huh.
I think that's the last one, yeah.
Okay. Any updates on that effort?
They didn't find it, but they are going back. How do let me turn this off here. Thank you. Unfortunately, didn't find it as of a couple of days ago or so, but they are going to go back and look for it with more intent and toys.
Yeah.
To search for it. So it's unfortunate because it did run around for a little while, and then apparently the fail-safe system didn't quite work as expected, so it didn't come back up for some reason.
Oh man!
I don't know if we had a radio glitch or a battery failure or what happened, but. And it's funny because I lost a boat out there too, so I told the scuba diver, I said, "Yeah, if you see a little yellow boat, that's mine."
It's probably like a graveyard under there of all sorts of stuff.
I bet he finds all kinds of neat stuff.
Yeah.
So so we had our fantastic.
Did they ever drain that lake?
I don't know. I've seen it low, but I've never seen it drained.
All right.
But I don't know. Maybe they have.
Yeah.
The water looked relatively clear, but Bob said as soon as he got underwater, he could barely see his hand in front of it.
Oh wow!
Himself when he stretched out his arm, so
yeah,
it was just really murky.
All right. So how was attendance at this?
Pretty good.
We said fa, but for those not in on the joke, Fitz's fantastic flotilla of fun.
Yeah, it was pretty good. We had Lee couldn't make it. He had an event at his field, but we had a few people that don't usually show up that showed up, and some new people, and a good range of boats. There's a guy who likes to do military stuff, so he came out with a destroyer. Another guy came out with a little destroyer too. The usual combination of tugboats, speedboats, sailboats, bunch of sailboats today, that day actually. The water level was a little higher, so I was able to pull out my Dragonflight 95, which is nice. Always a fun boat to drive around. But it's just got kind of a long keel, so unless the water is a certain level, I can't really sail it very easily. And yeah, just had a good time. The weather was pretty good. We got to see the B-57 fly over, WB-57.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah,
relatively low too.
Yeah. So the place where you do this is right next to Ellington Field, where there's all sorts of NASA and other interesting airplanes.
Yeah. And so they got a special research version of the WB-57, which is a twin-engine bomber, but it dates back to the 50s. It's a variation of the Canberra bomber.
Yeah. Yep.
And it just has a very distinctive sound when it flies. When it goes up in the air, like, what the heck is that? But apparently it can go really high too. It has like really high altitude.
Yeah,
Birds.
the wing is like the size of a football field. It's huge.
Yeah, I remember. You remember Randy Stone?
Of course, I remember Randy Stone.
He said he took a ride in it once, and he remember him telling me that it actually has a really good rate of climb, and you really gun it. He was surprised what the climb rate and the thing.
Yeah, so that must have been a neat experience.
It was, yeah. It sounds like he got to do a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, so a little tribute to Randy. I was doing something on my phone the other day looking for somebody's information, and Randy's info was still on my phone, and I stumbled across him. I'm like, oh yeah, I miss Randy. He was a good guy.
I do too. He was a neat guy to talk to. He had those guys that just had a lot of cool stories and outlook on life, and seemed to know everybody, and just kind of did a lot of interesting things.
When I first met him, this was in the JSC club, he was actually deputy director of JSC and had a long history in the agency. And so I was a little bit intimidated by him. But once the first introductions were made, he was the nicest, friendliest, most open guy, and ended up being my roommate at CEF one year. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I really liked him. He was part of the unofficial Old Farts Flying Club that we had.
Yeah, he was. I look at it every once in a while. I need to get to it. I have one of his planes that he had started and never finished.
Oh. Okay.
And I was able to get it from his wife. And I do definitely plan on finishing it one day. So it's my own little tribute to Mr. Stone.
All right. Is that all for your flotilla?
Yeah, that's it. I don't have a whole lot else to say. Then, if you're listening to this in the Houston area, send us a note. We'll add you to the email list for the next one. It's just a nice low-key event. No attendance fee. Just show up with a boat, have a good time. We kind of had a bit of an issue this last time. They did some work on the park some time ago, and there's a sort of a fountain in the middle of it. And the fountain itself is not a problem. The problem is the moorings. There's 3 lines of rope that go out to it to kind of, I guess, hold it in place. And the original lines were underwater. And then they replaced them with other lines that float on the surface. And at first they were just a minor annoyance. It's, hey, there's these ropes, just be careful, don't run them over. Every once in a while somebody would hit it and it would kind of just bounce off of it or something. But this time we had 2 or 3 people get stuck on them real bad. And fortunately that guy had the canoe, so he was able to go out, but he couldn't just pull a boat out. He actually had to take a knife and cut it away. Because apparently what happened is people are out there fishing, and their fishing lines are getting wrapped around this rope. And so as some of the boats get up, the propellers get wrapped around the fishing line that's wrapped around this rope. And so there's no way they're getting it back unless somebody's out there with a boat to literally cut it free with a knife.
I never imagined fishing out there. I guess there has to be fish.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really see anything of any size. I've seen little minnows and maybe a medium-sized fish, but not enough to warrant fishing. And there's a bunch of turtles, unless you want some turtle meat, but...
Yeah, it's like fishing in a swimming pool. It's an obviously man-made lake, but...
It's a man-made pond. It's not very big. There's never really anything of significance that I could see, but people will go out there fishing. It's like, no, go somewhere real. Maybe because it's freshwater, maybe, but still.
Yeah, it's like Jeff Goldblum says, life finds a way.
Yeah, life finds a way. Yeah, there's definitely life in there. So we're debating things we can do. We may have to, next time we go out, take a boat out there and try to cut away all that fishing line or something. Try to clean it up a little bit.
So you're going to design like an ice cutter type boat with a razor blade on the front?
I don't know. Oh, I forgot to mention, I did the bait boat that we're talking about. Makes a pretty decent retrieval boat for boats that were stuck.
Okay.
And so I used it for 2 or 3 different boats that were stuck. Not on the line, but a couple of boats just got stuck out in water for some various reasons. And I was able to pull the thing out because it's got the camera on it. And I brought my FPV setup when I was out there. So it was neat to kind of put this on and drive the bait boat around and line up with whatever was stuck out there and pull it back to shore. It wasn't ideal in its current configuration, but we were brainstorming. It's like, can we put some sort of foam pool noodles or something on the front of it, or some sort of manipulator arms to make it easier to grab boats and stuff, or something in the bomb bay to come down and
right. Well, can't you follow Lee's lead on this with his tugster?
Yeah, his Tuxter has the arms that come out the front, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I could do something like that, something simple, but it really makes, and it's big, so there's nothing it can't pull back to shore.
Right.
It's got a lot of power and size. So yeah, so all in all, I have to say the bait boat was a lot more entertaining than I thought it ever would be.
Good. I'm glad it's getting used.
Yeah.
Now, what size batteries did you use for the propulsion?
I used two 4003S lithiums.
3S. Okay, good.
3S. Yeah, it says for 3S.
So
I don't know what kind of runtime. Okay.
Well, originally, it probably had 12-volt lead acid batteries, so 3S makes sense.
The 3S 4000s, I don't know what kind of runtime it has, but we had it out there for quite a while and didn't seem like it ran out of battery power.
Yeah, I would think you'd get good runtime on that.
In fact, the only thing that stopped me was I ingested some rope into one of the drives.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I came off, I was trying to go around the rope, but where they tied, it's kind of hard to describe. There's a hook underwater that they tie these ropes to, and there was a couple of strands that were just kind of dangling, and I somehow ingested them and wrapped around one of the props. It was right next to shore, fortunately, but it's sitting right here. I need to cut out all that gunk. Got wrapped around the prop blades.
Because those are shrouded props.
Yeah, I thought I was pretty safe, but it still ingested because it was the end of the rope. Just kind of a loose end that was kind of dangling, and it ingested it.
Huh. All right. It's a real minefield out there now.
It was. Like, what's going on? So anyways, that's it for my FFOF. Yeah.
Yes.
FFOF.
FFFOF.
Fantastic Flotilla. Oh, yeah, 3 Fs. FFFOF. F cubed OF.
Yeah. Well,
anyways.
Speaking of submarines, as a little family event, I had an old friend of mine from high school visiting this past week, and we took a little drive down to Manitowoc, Wisconsin, which is 45 minutes south of me and on Lake Michigan. But they have an old World War II sub there that's in remarkably good shape.
I heard a story about that one.
Yeah, the Cobia. But they say 80% of the systems are still functional.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, did it take it out every once in a while or something?
No, I don't know the full history, but it's certainly moored there now. But they take really good care of it.
Yeah.
And if it served till the end of World War II, and then it was at a training facility for a while, so obviously kept it going. So, and right up until it was retired, maybe it was reactivated for the Korean War. Anyway, it was maintained in service for a long time, and then not long after that was sent to this place to be a museum piece. So it wasn't mothballed for very long.
You said it was on the lake, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because of fresh water too, it keeps it more preserved. And
that probably helps. And this museum, I forget the name of the museum, and sorry for museum people, but it's in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. They had a little history board that talks about making submarines in Wisconsin. So on the Great Lakes, you would think they're locked in the Great Lakes, but no, they were able to get them. I forget how it happened, but they got them to the Mississippi River and then out into the Gulf. And
oh, really? Down to Mississippi. Can you imagine being on the Mississippi and seeing a submarine go past you? Like, wait, what?
Yeah. Anyway, so some interesting facts that I was not aware of. So.
Interesting. And you can go in it? I don't remember if you said it or not.
Yeah, you can walk through the submarine, and it's still mostly there. And
cool.
So I'm 6'3". My buddy that I was with is 6'5". To watch a 6'5" dude try to go through those hatches in the submarine.
Oh, yeah.
Was entertaining.
That was a rare height back in 1942 or whatever.
Yeah, and we didn't notice till afterward, but in the main entrance to the museum, they have a sample porthole. They're like, if you're going in the submarine, you're going to have to deal with this. And so I don't think it would have changed his mind knowing that, but it was still fun to watch. And lots of swearing and cursing when we bashed our heads on things.
Bash your heads on that.
Yeah, there's valves and knobs and stuff like that all over the place. So, yeah. Anyway, it was a good day. So, what else do you want to talk about?
I am looking up the submarine.
Oh, the one I just talked about?
USS Cobia?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was laid down, launched in November 1943. Commissioned in 44, decommissioned 46, recommissioned 51. Yeah, it's Korean War. So it's cobia. I guess a cobia is a type of fish. It's got kind of a funny insignia.
Aren't all submarines named after fish?
Except for the modern ones, yeah.
Yeah, okay. World War II submarines.
All the World War II ones are.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see what kind of sub it was. It looks like is it a Garo class?
I don't know.
It looks like it. Yeah, it's a Garo fleet sub.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, my nerd. Yeah, it's Garo class submarine. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Well, next time you're up here, we have a day trip to take care of.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
All right.
Now, this one though said it was built in Groton, Connecticut.
Yes, this was not a Wisconsin-built submarine. Yeah.
Reached Pearl Harbor, Virginia. First patrol. Went to a patrol. One of them sank 3 small armed ships in a running gun battle. One of them rammed a cobia, causing minor damage. Wow, it's got some history to it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anyways, I don't want to bog this down. I just was curious. We went on a whole bunch of patrols.
Does it say the name of the museum where it's located?
Oh, I think it's called the Wisconsin Maritime Museum.
That's the one. Okay, so plug for them.
Yeah. Cool beans. All right, that's the plan.
All right. So we did a thing recently. In the last episode, we talked about we were gonna do an RC rescue. Well, we did. Yeah, we did an RC rescue. We recorded it. We released it. It's out there. So I encourage you to go watch it. It is about a 60-year-old RC airplane. To be more specific, a 60-year-old half-A Goldberg Cessna Skyline that I got in an estate and originally had a single-channel escapement in it with a non-throttled 049. And now it has 3-channel electric-powered RC and flies pretty darn good. So, in the rescue, we talk about how it went from that to this and the trials and tribulations along the way. So,
all right.
Yeah. So, yeah, check it out and give us some hits and some likes and some love.
All right.
There's an event coming up. Our buddy Richard let us know about it. I don't have the flyer here. We can put the flyer on our page. But the Richardson swap meet's coming up.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, August 16th.
Yes, he did send a note about that. Yes, he did. Yeah, that's a pretty nice one, the Richardson one, and if you're in the Dallas area.
Okay. So where around Dallas is Richardson?
I think it was north-ish, North Dallas.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
All right. So it looks like it's just a one-day gig, August 16th, where some of these are, some of them are multiple days.
It's usually one day.
Okay. So August 16th is a Saturday. Starts at 8 to noon, auction at 11. So like I said, we'll put the flyer up so people that want to go have all the information they need, but
it's a pretty
mark it on your calendar.
I have to ask Lee if he's planning on going or not. We might take a drive up.
I can't remember if I've been to that one before, but is that one that you guys normally go to?
We've gone there on several occasions.
Okay.
I think we've been there 3 or 4 times, maybe.
All right. And you going to go this year?
I don't know. Maybe. Depends on what I'm doing that weekend, how I feel.
All right.
Make it a day trip or stay overnight, not sure.
All right.
Insufficient data to formulate a response at this time.
So Lee should be back from Wisconsin. And if I haven't murdered him, he will be back in Houston. Or if he hasn't murdered me, either way. Either scenario is just as
long as there wasn't any murdering going on, you're good.
Right. So, yeah. So we mentioned before, we're going to have those few days in Muncie, and then we're going to come hang out here for the remainder of the next week. And then the week after that is Oshkosh, or AirVenture.
Oshkosh, my gosh.
Yeah, so we're going to be here for that whole week. Again, getting people on the sticks in the afternoons there, and that'll be fun. And, I was just thinking about it. Since you're not going to be there this year, we need to find a substitute trainer to fill your shoes.
Yeah.
As if that's possible.
Well, my shoes are a normal size. It shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
Is his son going up? No, his son's at school now, isn't he?
He might be.
Oh, maybe. I think Austin might be able to do that.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's an excellent trainer, especially of the younger generation.
Yeah, he can really. He can talk their language.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
All right. Well, I think I am out of stuff to talk about.
So am I. We've been chatting long enough.
Just imagine if we had the original 20 minutes that I screwed up on here.
Yeah, really.
This would be our Emmy award-winning episode, no doubt.
I want to thank my mother and my father, my sister, my brother.
And your agent.
And my agent. Yeah. Oh, my loving fans. All right. Well, it's been fun. No, sans Lee. That's okay, but we did okay, I think.
Yeah, he didn't make it on, unfortunately.
Didn't make it on, so I hope everything's okay. We will find out.
We miss you, buddy. Yeah. We'll get him on here next time. Or maybe next time, Lee and I will be in Muncie, and maybe we'll be Fitzless.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you guys do a show there. I can take a day off.
Yeah, to work on more review stuff.
Oh, I got a bunch of stuff to work on. Views and videos. Oh, I got so much stuff.
Before you do this outro stuff, Constellation update?
I haven't touched it. It's right here. I just haven't had a chance. I've been looking at it. I was like, I need to get it out to fly it. I've been trying to see if I can work it in. And I've just been so busy. I've got family coming in this weekend, so it looks like I'll have no time at all this weekend to do any of this kind of stuff.
Right. And the Cherokee jumped the line.
Yeah, the Cherokee jumped the line big time. So I just need to get it out there and fly. But I don't know when.
All right. Well, make sure you record it. I want to see this happen. Preferably live.
Live?
Yeah. Take a gamble here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm eager to get it going. It's ready to go.
All right.
One of our local clubs is having a fly-in event too this weekend, and I can't go.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we promo that event?
Yeah, the Jetero High Wing Hoedown in wherever it is, Houston area, northeast Houston-ish. Nice, very nice field, and they have a great setup and clubhouse and stuff, and they call it a High Wing Hoedown. I think it's a High Wing Hoedown, something like that. High Wing event. So for some reason, I got a bunch of High Wing planes.
Yeah.
I don't normally gravitate toward them. Well, I guess. But, you think High Wing, you think more trainer-like, but that's okay. I got some cool stuff. Right. It's the second High Wing event I've missed this year for some reason or another.
Well, we're recording this on Wednesday. What day is the event?
Saturday.
So
we may or may not make
27th, 29th? June 29th?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can't think of any events going on up here. Again, I'm leaving town. So I think we're ready for you to get us out of here.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening to this very fine episode of the Fitz and Terry show. As usual, if you have any comments, send them to contact@rcroundtable.com. Join us on our social media thingamajiggies. We've got Facebook, RC Roundtable, and the website, rcroundtable.com. I think we have an Instagram, but I don't think we ever put anything on it.
Yeah, it's pretty dead.
If you're watching this, we do have audio versions of this show and all the other shows through the various podcasts support mediators. And of course, if you're listening to us, join us on YouTube at the RC Roundtable YouTube channel. We can see all our glorious faces and show and tells that we do that you're missing. So please like and subscribe, give us feedback, send us a note, do whatever you need to do. You know the routine. We don't have to tell you. You're grown boys and girls. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. We hope to see you out in the free world at some fun fly event somewhere, somehow, someday. Last thoughts, Terry?
Sorry. You made it through the whole show.
Ah, crud. Oh, that's like if we're talking faster than my brain can process.
Nope, I'm all good.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we will see you later.
Please visit our website at rcroundtable.com. That's where you will find all of our podcast episodes. You can also find a little bit of background information about the show host and leave comments and suggestions about the show. There are links to a few of our favorite vendors and also links to our various social media accounts. Thank you for watching and listening.